Hello and welcome back to Minstrels on the Block with Rick Edwards, special guest. So Rick, all roads lead back home.
Yes, they do.
Now,
yes, they do.
Your earliest influence is musically, as far as starting you to writing, was Bob Dylan? That record that was sent?
Yeah. As far as writing songs, yeah, that was my earliest influence. Like I said, I had listened to Hank Williams and I had listened to Woody Guthrie. But that little kid, Bob Dylan, he's the one that really pushed me over the edge. And he had a lot to say, and and what he was saying meant a lot to me in the time. It was the times. It was in the '60s, you know. Yeah. There was a lot of social unrest, cultural unrest in the country, and you know, it turned into the marijuana explosion and the LSD explosion and all the drugs, '60s and '70s and all that. But the underlying thing behind that was the unrest.
Yeah.
You know, civil rights. You know, people not being treated right, and then all of a sudden, we're in Vietnam. You know, fighting a war that we shouldn't even be in to begin with. Yeah. And you know, Bob Dylan was talking about those things. Yeah. As a kid. Now he was a kid also. He was a little older than me, but he was still a kid. You know, he was 19, 20 years old when he was writing all those great songs, and you know, it hit me. And it hit me pretty hard. I started believing in that. He wasn't preaching, but he was just telling it like it is.
Like it is, yeah.
And nobody else was. Yeah. That's the thing. He hit at exactly the right time when not just me, but a lot of the youth of America needed someone just say, hey, this is the way it is. Y'all listening to the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, you get an attitude.
Yeah.
And I got it good. It took on me.
Uncle Grumpy. So, okay, let's say you're kicking around the house one day, you know, drinking a cold one, and what are you most likely to be listening to on your stereo?
That varies also. I love Graham Parsons. I listen to Graham Parsons a lot. I listen to a lot of bluegrass music. I don't consider myself a bluegrass player, but I play a bluegrass instrument. Yeah. And and I've always liked the blues. I love David Grisman Quintet, and all that old and the way stuff. I used to listen to a lot of country, but I don't like the modern country that well. Now there's some exceptions. Yeah. I'm talking radio country. Yeah. And no offense toward you radio, I know y'all are programmed. You can't help it. But I got a lot of singer-songwriters that I listen to. You know, and they're way too numerous to name. I listen to Woody Guthrie a lot. I listen to Hank Williams a lot. I got a Hank Williams album called Hank Williams Alone with His Guitar. And there's some outtakes from the studio from way back, and songs that some of them probably didn't even make one of his actual albums. Right. It's just him playing his guitar in the studio and his voice. Most people hadn't heard that because they won't play that on the radio. Right. And plus, that time is past anyway. I'm not trying to live in the past. Right. It's just that a lot of this past music is really good. It influences me. So I still listen to it to this day. When I need to get back to my roots and settle in as a writer, that's what I go back to. Woody Guthrie, Bob Dylan.
There's a reason they call that old music gold.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
So now we get into the present social commentaries. What do you think of the local music scene, current local music scene?
I think it is terribly lacking. And I say that, you know, sincerely. I'm not trying to run anybody or anything down. As far as the musicians and the actual quality of our music, or local music, it's excellent. It's great. The venues don't support it as much as I would like. I mean, they own the businesses. They get to say what they want to do. But, you know, you asked me the question. I think that they should start supporting our local songwriters a little more, and having some events and some things that just actually will showcase what we have. Right. You know, and not just the people from Atlanta that are trying to come down and be cool. And I'm not even talking about me. I'm an old dude. I don't mind. I still love to play, don't get me wrong. But we've got a lot of young people that are playing music, you amongst them. I consider all y'all. Yeah. But anyway, you know, that needs to be heard, and needs to be and it needs to be understood that these folks are good. And they're writing good songs. They're trying real hard. They're putting it out there, and they're entertaining. So we need the clubs and our venues around here need to really think about that. Like they have all these things on the Riverwalk, in Phoenix City. I think that Rebecca Harris, she uses a lot of local talent. But I think we could actually have some more things down there to showcase local talent. Paying gigs. These guys and girls need to make at least $50, folks. I mean, it's worth it when you go out and you pay for your guitars, your cables, all your stuff. It takes time. You spend your gas money. You go buy beer in bars, playing at open mics and all. It just costs. And every now and then, it's really nice for somebody to hand you a $50 bill for playing the show. And that's one of the things we need to work on around here too. Just it breeds professionalism. Yeah. It's hard to be professional when you're not making any money.
That's true. It stays within the realm of hobby. If you get making money, it goes into professional.
And there's nothing wrong with it being a hobby also.
Right, if that's what you want,
money does not make good music.
No, it does not.
But good music should be rewarded with a little change every now.
Well, now is the time when we open the floor or the microphone for you to plug whatever you like, for you to say whatever you might like to say.
Okay. I don't really want to plug myself that much. I've been plugged so many times, it's ridiculous. But I do want to plug our local singer-songwriters. I just want to reiterate. Go out, all of you people, go out and support our local musicians and our local people. Not just musicians, artists in general. We have an awful lot of culture in this area, and it's a shame that Columbus and Phoenix City has not developed a tighter culture and a more defined culture. It's here, we have it, but our population doesn't embrace it as much as I would like. We really have an excellent culture here. And that's the one thing that I think that Columbus and Phoenix City needs to understand, is that we do have this culture. It does need to be nursed and stroked occasionally to keep it. But this is a mecca of songwriters, singer-songwriter types, of musicians. We have some of the best, I would say, in the world right here. And I'm not talking classical. We have that with the music school and all this stuff. I'm talking our Seat of the Britches, country folk,
troubadours.
Yeah. And many of those are classically and technically trained.
That's true. That's true.
Like John and Jenny. Those people are highly trained people. Don't try this at home, folks.
Yeah.
they know. They do know what they're doing.
They totally know.
And yet they enjoy the culture of the folk music and our local. I call it our local music. It has a flavor.
It really does.
And like back in the 90s, I formed a group called the Chattahoochee Folk Music Society. You probably remember. We've had a few things. It's still in existence. It's just been lying dormant.
Yeah.
I want to try to get it back active again. So look for us to do some promos and some advertising. It's a non-profit organization. It's for people who enjoy, love, not only to play, but to listen to good folk music. And folk runs the gamut.
Yeah.
From Delta blues to all the way to rock and roll, folk has influenced music.
Oh, yeah.
Of every sort. Even rap music.
Yeah.
People say, how can you connect that? I said, well, the old talking blues that Woody Guthrie used to do, he's just rapping with the guitar,
Rap music is folk music.
So, I want to get the Folk Music Society going again, is basically what I'm saying. So look for some words on that. We'll come up with some things to do.
Okay. Let's talk about your CDs.
Okay, I got two of them right here with me. This was the first one.